Hey everyone! Welcome back to Grammar and Writing Academy, your destination for mastering English. Have you ever been judged just by the way you look or what you wear? Well, today, I'm going to tell you a story called The Hungry Coat, and trust me, it's a tale with a twist you'll never forget. Once upon a time in Turkey, there lived a wise man named Nasrettin Hoca. Everyone in the village knew he was clever, funny, and always teaching people life lessons in the most unexpected ways. One day, Nasreddin Hoca was invited to a grand banquet. Excited, he put on his everyday clothes, a simple, old shabby coat, and made his way to the party. But when he arrived, something strange happened. No one welcomed him. The hosts barely looked his way. And when food was served, guess what? No one offered him a single bite. Nasrettin thought for a moment, then hurried back home. This time, he put on his finest coat, silky, shiny, and elegant. With his new look, he returned to the banquet. As soon as he walked in, wow, everything changed. The hosts rushed to greet him, the guests smiled, and the servants offered him the best food. Piles of meat, steaming bread, sweet desserts, you name it. Nasrettin sat down, picked up a plate of food, and then, instead of eating it, he began stuffing the food into his coat pocket. Eat, coat, eat! Clearly, you're the one being honored, not me. Everyone at the banquet froze. They were embarrassed. They realized they had judged Nasrettin not for who he was, but for what he wore. And that day they learned a lesson. True worth comes from character, not clothing. So the next time you meet someone, remember Nasrettin Hoca's coat. Don't judge by appearance, because a coat doesn't make the person. It's what's inside that truly matters.
After having a summary for The Hungry Coat, let's have a look at the theme. Genre, insight, background. Then we will end with some questions and answers to check your understanding. Are you ready? Let's go. Now let's talk about the theme. What is the theme of The Hungry Coat? It is respect and dignity should come from who a person is, not from their appearance. Genre, drama. The Hungry Coat is a play that is based on a Turkish folk tale. So, what is a play? 1. A play is a form of literature written to be performed by actors on a stage before an audience. A play is mainly made up of dialogue, what characters say, and stage directions, instructions for movement, tone, setting, or actions. Insight. What is the insight of The Hungry Coat? Think of that. People often value outward appearances like clothing, wealth, or status over a person's true character. The Hungry Coat shows us that respect is sometimes given for the wrong reasons. Nasrettin Hoca cleverly exposes this shallow behavior, teaching that real worth comes from who a person is, not what they wear. Now, let's have a look on the background. Ready? Let's start. Pat Betley wrote The Hungry Coat for a children's magazine, Faces, that explores how children live in places across the United States and far from the United States, such as Turkey, where this play originates. Betley has written many plays for the award-winning magazine, which is used in many schools. Betley also teaches science and social studies at a middle school in Ohio in the United States. Now, after reading this selection, let's have some questions and answers to have better understanding. Try to think of the answers our lovely learners. Do your best. So, let's start. Questions and answers. 1. What do you think the host should have done differently? He should have welcomed Nasrettin with kindness no matter his clothes. 2. How is this story still relevant today? People still sometimes judge others by looks, wealth, or status instead of character. 3. What would you have done if you were in Nasrettin's place? I would have left the place where I felt unwanted or unwelcomed. 4. Why do you think folktales like this survive for so long? Because they carry timeless lessons about human behavior and nature. 5. If you could change the ending, what would happen? The host might apologize and promise to treat everyone equally. 6. Why do you think people often judge others by their clothes or appearance? Because appearances are the first thing we see, and people sometimes value wealth and beauty more than character. 7. Do you think Nasrettin's way of teaching the lesson was effective? Why or why not? Yes, because it surprised the guests and made them rethink. It drew the men's attention to their flaws. 8. What might have happened if Nasrettin had never changed into his fine coat? The guests would not have learned the lesson, and they might have continued ignoring him. 9. What does this story tell us about human nature? People can be shallow, but also that they are capable of learning from mistakes. 10. How does the author show the contrast between Nasrettin's treatment in shabby clothes versus fine clothes? By describing the different reactions of the host and guests in each situation. 11. What is the significance of Nasrettin feeding his coat instead of himself? It symbolizes that respect was given to his coat, not to him as a person. 12. How does the banquet setting contribute to the story's message? A banquet is a place of status and wealth. The author makes it a perfect setting to highlight unfair judgment. 13. Why do you think the author chose Nasrettin Hoca as the main character instead of a random person? Because Nasrettin Hoca is a famous folk character known for wisdom and humor, which makes the story memorable. 14. In what ways does Nasrettin use humor to teach a lesson to the other guests at the banquet? He returns to the banquet in rich, fancy clothes and begins feeding his coat instead of himself, saying, "Eat, coat, eat." He uses humor to teach the guests not to judge people by appearances. 15. What job or role does the main character have in the play? Nasrettin plays the role of a wise, humorous man who attends a feast to teach an important life lesson in public. 16. Why is the coat described as hungry in the title? The title likely metaphorically suggests that the coat hungrily attracts attention or perhaps reflects the wearer's status. 17. What does Nasrettin do after being treated poorly at the banquet? He leaves the banquet, changes into fine clothes, and then returns. Now he is warmly welcomed and treated with respect. 18. What is the main conflict in the story? The main conflict is between appearance and true worth or value. Nasrettin is disrespected due to his poor clothing, highlighting society's unfair judgment based on looks rather than character. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more inspiring tales, and share it with a friend who needs a reminder that true value is deeper than what we see. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining. See you soon. Goodbye.